The Dolphins rolled into Chicago on a Thursday, that kind of early arrival that says, "We're here for more than just a game." This wasn't a quick in and out. It was the start of something bigger. 11 days away from home. 11 days where the walls of Hard Rock Stadium are replaced by buses, planes, and hotel corridors. 11 days where teammates stop being just teammates and start becoming something else entirely. By Friday morning, the air was already different. The Windy City wasn't exactly rolling out a warm welcome, gray skies, restless gusts, and that sharp bite of Midwestern summer air. It felt like the kind of day where tempers could snap faster than a cadence count. And that's exactly what happened. The Bears were waiting, not in a polite, "Glad you could make it" way. More like, "You're on our turf now." It wasn't even noon and bodies were colliding like this was a late December playoff push, not some early August run-through. Every snap felt like it had something to prove. Mike McDaniel wasn't shying away from what this road swing meant. He wasn't dressing it up as just another trip. Going on the road is a way where, if utilized correctly, guys can invest more into each other, he said. The bonding, you can't replicate it. Being able to collectively go for, I think it's 9 days, 3 joints and 2 games. The challenge that is in front of us is awesome for the guys to work through. You could tell he meant it. Not in some cliché coach-speak way, but in the way he watched every exchange between his players. He knew this wasn't just about reps. It was about the kind of trust that only comes when you're sharing sweat, frustration, and small victories far from home. Friday's session? Chaotic. Messy. Perfect. There was no slow build. Both defenses came out swinging, pressing, forcing. Quarterbacks were under siege from the moment they took a snap. And yet, in that storm, the Dolphins' offense found cracks. Not many, but enough to make the difference between an ordinary scrimmage and something that sticks in memory. Tua Tagovailoa had moments where the pocket felt like it was folding in from every direction, and still, he found ways to drop the ball exactly where it needed to be. That 40-yard catch and run from Nick Westbrook-Ikine. Not some routine practice rep. It was the kind of play that slices through the noise. You could almost feel the shift, defenders chasing, the sideline reacting, a surge of energy that cut through the humid Chicago air. Then came the strike to Jalen Waddle, threading a 30-yard rope through a crowded pocket that looked more like a collapsing cave than a place to throw. Chicago had its flash too. Caleb Williams came out firing with a 70-yard bomb to Olamide Zaccheaus early, and for a second, it felt like maybe the Bears were about to own the day. But that was it. That was their peak. From there, it was an uphill crawl for Williams. Every drawback seemed to shrink the space around him. Then Jordan Brooks made the play that stamped itself into the day's highlight reel. Dropping into coverage, eyes reading the quarterback's body language like a book, he undercut a throw meant for Cole Kmet and ripped it away. Not a tip. Not a fluke. A clean, calculated pick. A few plays later, Tyrel Dodson tried to mirror the move. Same read, same break, and almost pulled it off. Almost. But it wasn't just about those interceptions. The Dolphins' front seven was relentless. Dotson got home for a sack, Elijah Campbell blew through for another, and Zeke Biggers made his presence known with a quick win that swallowed Williams before he could even think about a check down. And those were just the obvious ones. More often than not, Williams wasn't being sacked because he was dumping the ball into the ground or out of bounds to avoid what was about to happen. His scrambles didn't lead to heroics. They led to throwaways. Why? Because the coverage behind that pass rush was suffocating. Jack Jones wasn't just playing his assignment. He was erasing it. Incomplete after incomplete. Tight coverage that left no breathing room. And then there was the moment he knifed into the backfield to crush a Chicago running back for a loss. The kind of tackle that rattles more than just a ball carrier. He plays with a lot of passion. Minkah Fitzpatrick said afterward, and it wasn't an empty compliment. He's a smart guy. The plays he made today, he took a calculated risk and made a play. When you do stuff like that, where you be a football player and not just a playbook player, people respect that, and people want to play similar ball to that. Fitzpatrick himself wasn't exactly quiet on the field. 3 incomplete passes with him draped in coverage, including a breakup in the red zone that could have swung momentum if it were a real game. It wasn't just about denying completions. It was about stripping away any rhythm Chicago thought they might find. And here's the thing. This wasn't even the main event. The Bears' practice was step one. The Dolphins still had Detroit waiting, with back-to-back joint practices ahead of another preseason clash. And that's where McDaniel's point about bonding hits hardest. 9 days. 3 joint practices. 2 games. You can't fake the grind that's coming. So what happens now? Do the Dolphins take what they showed in Chicago, that pressure, that coverage, that burst of big plays, and build it into something sharper? Or do they let the fatigue of the trip dull it? Because here's the reality. Preseason isn't about final scores. It's about stacking moments that actually mean something in September. It's about Tua standing in against a rush and still delivering on target. It's about Westbrook-Ikine proving he can turn a simple catch into a momentum spike. It's about Brooks reading a quarterback's eyes and closing the door before the ball even leaves the hand. Every rep in Chicago was another step into this road stretch, another push toward Detroit, another test of whether this team can keep that edge alive when they're waking up in another city's hotel room and walking into another team's practice field. And make no mistake, the Lions won't be a repeat of the Bears. Different team, different vibe, different problems to solve. But the question is, will the Dolphins bring the same bite? Or will the road start to feel heavy? The way Friday played out, you'd bet on them keeping that bite. The defense didn't just win plays. They controlled the mood. They made every Chicago completion feel like it had to be stolen. They made Williams' best highlight fade into the background noise of all the times he had nowhere to go. The offense, not perfect, not dominant, but sharp when it mattered. And in August, that's enough to raise eyebrows. Because this isn't about being polished now. It's about being dangerous later. 11 days on the road. 11 days to either sharpen or dull the blade. Chicago was just the first cut. Detroit is next. And after that, we'll see if the stretch becomes just another preseason trip or the kind of run that starts building a season's real story.